Today's Saturday opinion piece is on the news this week of the Ripple SEC lawsuit. We're going to go over what happened this week and a famous or infamous VC, what he says about the current market. Welcome everyone to OG Crypto and NFTs. This is the Saturday opinion piece. Today, the majority of the piece is going to be on Ripple and the SEC case, and then some interesting information that is going to be told to us in a video by a very famous VC from Silicon Valley. But before we get into all of that, let's go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It definitely promotes our channel, OG Crypto and NFTs. And so we want to go ahead and keep building it. Doesn't matter through the bear market or through the bull market. We want to give you the best 5 minutes in the industry. Let's jump into this. All right, so several different events happened in the SEC Ripple case, but it's all surrounding a former SEC director, Bill Hinman or William Hinman. Well, yesterday the judge Torres came out and said that the SEC to turn over Hinman documents over the Ripple Labs, over to Ripple Labs after months of dispute. Now, we understand that not a major part of this case, but a case that a lot of the XRP army is wanting to figure out is what happened with Bill Hinman and the Ethereum free pass speech. You know, it's a part of it, but not exactly what Ripple is going after to get this case dismissed or win the case outright. But it absolutely puts a lot more pressure on the SEC. Now, this is the sixth time in which they've appealed and lost the appeal and have been told to turn over these documents to the to Ripple. Now, there's got to be at a certain point a delay factor by the SEC, as well as a factor in which the SEC is scared. There's something in those emails. Is it SEC fraud? Is it clarity on XRP and which way the SEC and Bill Hinman thought the XRP and Ripple was? Was it a commodity in those emails? And I actually think that there might even be some security fraud in there as well. I think there might be discussions that are outside of what the SEC allows, and it's going to be interesting if we ever get a hold of that. If it doesn't come out in this case, we hope that Congress sooner or later, subpoenas it, brings in Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, to figure out what's going on here. The second thing that happened this week was Bill Hinman's calendar, and it kind of connected the dots to a lot of the timeline in which we're figuring out what led up to Bill Hinman's free Ethereum free speech. And he met with a lot of different pro-Ethereum activists and lawyers out there, and before it happened. Now, at the time, Ethereum and Ripple, or XRP, was in competition for number 2 behind the Bitcoin. But this speech really propelled Ethereum, and then later down the road, about a year and a half later, the lawsuit against Ripple really pushed Ripple down, or XRP down, pretty heavily, and making Ethereum the number 2 crypto in the world. So as we get into this, we really feel that this was major milestones in this. But I mean, ultimately, when it's all said and done, I don't think that the SEC is going to bow down or even wants to look at a settlement with Ripple. I think they're going to take this as far as it goes, or until they are forced to hand over the Hinman emails. Now, the SEC does have a few other options left, all of which are delay tactics. Number 1, they can go ahead and reappeal it back to Judge Torres. Number 2, they can appeal it to a higher court, or not a higher court, but the same court, but have someone else listen to it. All of which has a low probability after so many times that they have lost their appeals. Now, I wanted to bring in a little video clip of a VC capitalist from Silicon Valley, a very popular one. His name is, I want to say this right, Chamath Palihap. Yeah, so he is a very popular analyst on stocks, bonds, as well as just giving an overall market. And so I wanted you to hear this. I know this was on Money Sides, another YouTube crypto channel. And let's go ahead and listen to what he has to say. It's very, very interesting.
A trade of our lifetime. That's what's so exciting about this, is that Chamath Palihap sounds like he may be backing XRP.
But on my biggest business loser for 2022 is Visa and MasterCard and traditional payment rails and the entire ecosystem around it. So I think that this is the year you can put on what probably will be the most profitable spread trade of my lifetime, which is to be short these companies, and that anybody that basically lives off of this 2 or 3% tax, and be long, well thought out Web3 crypto projects that are rebuilding payments infrastructure in a completely decentralized way. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that what you say won't also happen, both that Stripe will have an incredible IPO and that a lot of these scammy crypto projects will go to zero. However, if you read the white papers of these crypto projects and you systematically put together a framework, I think you can be long those and you can be short Visa, MasterCard, because I think this is their peak market cap.
Man, Visa's market cap is $500 billion, huh? It's incredible.
It's a completely contrived duopoly that
and what
doesn't
does
need
Visa
to exist.
mean to a young person? And MasterCard's almost $400 billion, so they're $1 trillion combined market cap. That's incredible.
You have to understand that the canary in the coal mine here is pretty significant. The most important thing is Amazon, earlier this year, Nick, maybe you can post this, decided to just shut Visa off in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Amazon is not going to do something like that, in my opinion, unless it's a test of what they can do all around the world. And again, going back to this idea of arming the rebels, there really is no need today for all of these small businesses to sit on top of Visa, MasterCard, and Amex rails. It's unnecessary. And so it'll probably get developed in the developing world first. This is why I think, focusing in markets like Nigeria, to me, are way more exciting than talking about these fading Western European countries. Who cares?
Right.
This is where this stuff will happen. It's not to say that those other companies can't, trundle along for a while. But when I say, we'll look back in 10 years and their market caps will be materially lower, anybody in those traditional infrastructure and rails versus anybody in this new infrastructure and rails it will look like a no-brainer.
So this is very interesting what he's talking about. It's consumer credit, right? Visa and MasterCard. And he understands that the 2 or 3%ers, and that's what typically Visa, MasterCard charges either the consumer, actually, as well as the company that actually uses uses the Visa and MasterCard companies, as well as American Express. So with that being said, how can we make it cheaper? How can we make it easier? There's a lot of money that's being pushed around between banks as well as these consumer debt card companies. Well, XRP kind of solves that whole thing, right? On-demand liquidity kills all liquidity that needs to be held off the side for these transfers. Number two, it's done instantly. So it goes from, let's say the merchant, that's what I meant before, from the merchant's bank account, into the merchant's bank account from the consumer. So it's instant transfers for fractions of a penny and not for percentages. And that's why he's looking at 2022, and especially in the fourth quarter, that he's shorting those companies, those big major companies that have not pivoted into some type of digital assets that are going to allow the financial technology to actually make this quicker, faster, stronger for society or for the consumer itself. It's also going to free up liquidity, and that cannot be underestimated on how much money that sits on the sidelines and does nothing but holds the transaction for days and making sure that it goes through. So, guys, if you have any comments below, please leave them. I'm more than happy to go answer them for you. I know that we're kind of eccentric here with XRP and with Ripple, but this case means so much to the crypto industry as well as the future of where we're going to go with financial technology. Other companies that are on that leading edge are XDC, which is fintech. We're also looking at HBAR, which is Hedera, Algorand, Algo. Those are companies that are on that edge that we're going to see, I think, cascade in 2023 and really come to the forefront. I know people out there like XLM as well. I kind of like XLM, not 100% as much as I like the other ones, but to make it, to put it all together. The financial system that we see today is going to be significantly different, I think, within the next 24 to 30 months. And if CBDCs take over, and we're going to see a bunch of major countries launch CBDCs and start to move off of their current monetary system and get away from paper, cash, and going to go into digital currencies. That's going to be the future. And again, that's all digital. And I think this is going to be how it's all going to kind of play out in the next 24 to 30 months. Well, guys, you have a fantastic rest of the weekend, and I will see you on Monday.